Hello squad, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be taking my closet from around 90 pieces to 33 pieces, and I'm gonna take you along with me. So the idea of a capsule wardrobe is not a new monumental concept. I've even posted videos showing my capsule wardrobe for a certain season, a certain time of the year. So the idea of a capsule wardrobe is limiting your pieces to a certain number and then learning how to utilize those pieces and mix and match them so that you only have a set amount. The idea is that you just have a curated number of pieces and you mix and match those. And then as the seasons go on, you rotate and evaluate what you want to keep and what you want to maybe try something different. So I've kind of followed people and liked the idea of a capsule and even shared my own variations. But even in my variations of a capsule wardrobe, I would have those extra pieces hanging in the closet sort of as a safety net. That, okay, if this feels a little too restrictive, I have these other pieces that I can fall back on. So this past week, I was actually listening to a podcast by Dawn from The Minimal Mom, and she was interviewing a woman about solving your closet problems. This closet in particular has quite a few issues, and we will get to that. But I felt that this podcast was relevant to my situation, so I listened to it. So I actually ended up being so glad I listened to this podcast because Dawn interviewed Courtney Carver and she talked about Project 333. And this is kind of her platform on the internet. She has written books and she has a website, and this is her version, her take on a capsule wardrobe. So I'm gonna just kind of go over the basics with you and then we're gonna get started working on my closet. So the basic premise of Project 333 is that for 3 months you choose 33 pieces. Now the thing that's a little challenging is those 33 pieces include your shoes and they include your jewelry. So you change your pieces out every 3 months. As I said, they include your clothing, accessories, jewelry, outerwear, and shoes. It also tells you what not to include. You don't have to include sentimental pieces of jewelry that you never take off, such as a wedding band. You don't have to include undergarments or sleepwear. You don't have to include workout clothing, but what she says is, basically, if you're wearing your leggings as an outfit and not just as exercise wear, then you do have to include those in the 33 items. And then I thought that this bit was valuable. Down at the bottom, it says, what else? Consider that you are creating a wardrobe that you can live, work, and play in for 3 months. Remember that this is not a project in suffering. If your clothes don't fit or are in poor condition, replace them. So something about this really spoke to me, and I thought, I'm gonna see maybe if I can do it. There's also something about the 3 months that if it doesn't work for you, you've only committed to 3 months, and those extra items that you're not including in your capsule, you just box those up, tape them, and put them away. So Courtney advised on the podcast, if you're getting started with this, she said the first thing that you should do is make a list. She said, don't look at the pieces in your closet because you'll be tempted to say, oh, well, I want to include this, I want to include this. So I sat down and I thought, if I were building a summer wardrobe, what would I want to include? And so I listed several things that I knew I had in my closet, but I also listed a few things that I don't currently have. So I really liked that approach, and I totally agree with what she said. I think if you start out looking at your closet, you'll think, well, I need to include this, and your reasons might be because you like those pieces, or they might just be because they've been in your closet for years, so you're just used to seeing them there. Now, I will say, a large portion of the pieces that are in my closet are off-season. There are lots of cardigans in here, a lot of cardigans. There are long-sleeved items. There are jackets. There are things that really don't even need to be hanging in here right now. So I'm just going to start making piles on my bed, and that's what she says to do next once you have made your list. So there are a few things that I'm hoping to glean from this. One, obviously, is simplicity and ease of organization, ease of getting ready. You know, we've heard it said so many times that the less stuff you have, the less stuff you have to manage. Michael and Smith calls it being a stuff manager. And she talks about when she was in her earlier years of being married and being a mom, she realized as they were moving from home to home that she was just a stuff manager. And she had all of this decor that she was just moving from home to home, and it would stay in a closet and she would never use it. So I think we can be like that with our clothing too, and we can be a stuff manager. One thing that is really appealing is as I started listing, I thought, I don't know that I regularly wear that many more than 33 pieces, and there's a chance that you fall into that same category. I know a lot of us have a closet full of clothing, but we pull for those same things over and over again. This point on the website really spoke to me, and I've mentioned this before in talking about the words that I want to describe my wardrobe for a certain season. Once you start dressing with less, pay less attention to what you are wearing or not wearing and more attention to something more important. If I'm wearing something and I feel good in it, then I'm automatically not thinking inwardly nearly as much. And I've thought about this many times. We think that people are so focused on what we are wearing, when in reality, thinking about what you wore Sunday to church, there's a good chance even by Sunday afternoon, and definitely probably by middle of the week, very few people are going to remember what you were wearing. And I think a lot of times we just think people are thinking about us more than they actually are. So I really like this idea of, I love these 33 pieces for this season. This is my capsule. Everything in it is something that I love, that I feel good in, that reflects my style, and there's no guesswork. All right, so let's talk about challenges with this specific closet. So at our old house, I don't know if you remember, we had a humongous walk-in closet. There was no limited space, so we were not required to keep things down to a certain number of pieces. I actually had a top and bottom rack. The top rack went all the way around the room, and I could store all the clothes that I wanted to. And here we knew that that was going to be different. So over the past few months, I have actually been downsizing and trying to keep it about to the space requirements of this closet. But one thing that I did not consider and didn't realize till I moved in was that these racks are spaced so closely together. There's not enough distance for the clothes to fully hang. So that top row of clothes actually lays down on the shelf. So the shelf is not functional. And then the lower rack actually touches almost to the floor. And so I was planning to place my shoes under that lower rack, and right now that's not a possibility. So actually, kind of what I'm hoping will be a byproduct of this is that maybe I'll only need one shelf, and then maybe I can place a drawer unit in that bottom section or something else, and maybe not even need to hang clothes on that bottom rack. I just want it to be light, and I just want to walk to my closet and see everything that I want to see and see nothing that I don't. All right, I am going to tie my hair up and I am going to get working.
All right, so always with a project like this, get a good podcast, get a good playlist, and just get to work. So that's what I'm doing here. I am pulling everything out of my closet, just like Courtney said, and I am just piling it on my bed. She said she almost wanted to be a little offended by how many clothes she had and how much money she had spent on her clothing. You guys know that I am very much a frugal shopper, so almost all of my clothing is thrifted or yard sale finds. But you can see that I have a lot of clothing. I have a lot of things here. And granted, a lot of them are off season. Now here, the few things that I'm showing you are some new thrifted finds. That first shirt right there has a few oil stains on it. And I'm going to insert my favorite spot treat here. This stuff is fantastic and pretty much always gets oil stains out. So I like to plug it when I can. My second thrifted piece was this really adorable shirt. It's sort of like a peplum top, so I wear it with jeans or with shorts, and I just loved the sunflower pattern of it. And then I have this little dainty kind of lacy tank top. So all three of these are going to be added to the collection. As I went to kind of refill and restock my closet, the area where I decided to start was shoes. It felt less daunting to me. It felt less overwhelming because I sort of knew which shoes I wanted to include, and I don't have nearly as many pairs of shoes as I do items of clothing. So if you find yourself in this boat, I would recommend starting with shoes first and then following up with accessories and clothing. For shoes, I included this pair of tennis shoes and then a very similar pair that's more for actual working out. I included this white pair of sort of Keds. I have a pair of mules and a pair of sandals. Most of these were secondhand, and I think they're going to suit all of my needs for the warm weather months.
Okay, so I started with shoes, and now I'm going to move to accessories. So I don't have to include my wedding ring, my engagement ring, that's part of it. I am going to include these simple gold earrings. These came from Plato's Closet. Admittedly, I wish the closure was different. I don't love this little part right here. But until I find something else, these have been a good everyday earring for me. I also have these that I got from Plato's Closet as well. They are sort of a braided hoop, but the one thing, this is just practically speaking, that I don't love about these is that they are open right here. So if I am wearing these with my hair down, my hair gets caught in them and it just becomes kind of annoying. So I really love how they look on, but from a practicality standpoint, I don't think I will include these in the capsule. A few things that I am toying around with including, I have this belt. If you remember my trip to the Goodwill bins, I got this belt there, and it is a Ralph Lauren leather belt. I don't think I've worn this at all, and so this is honestly a chance for me to decide, am I going to use this or can I let it go? I need to first see where it fits. Okay, it will actually fit around my natural waist, around my, actually I need to make another hole for it to fit here as a true belt. And then I could make maybe a couple other holes if I decided I wanted to belt something here. But I would say that this is very much a maybe, and I'm going to experiment with a couple of my dresses and a couple of my outfits where maybe I would use it with shorts. If I don't think that it adds enough to the outfits, I'm not going to use one of my 33 items on a belt. We'll see. Another thing that I'm considering is maybe adding a statement earring. So I don't feel fully dressed without earrings. I've always been that way. I don't really wear necklaces. Occasionally I would do a bracelet or something like that, but I pretty much always wear earrings. I do have a couple more small basic earrings I'd like to eventually add to the collection, but right now I'm planning to do these and a statement earring. So I'm going to show you guys my options, and then I want you to let me know down below which one you think I should choose. I did want to mention is I will not be including clips and things like that as accessories. I'm choosing to categorize them as tools. When I put these in my hair, I don't really think about them making my outfit or completing my outfit. I just think about them serving a purpose while also looking nice. So I guess you could categorize those either way, but they're not particularly decorative. So I'm just choosing to use them as a tool, and they're not going to go towards my 33 pieces. I thought I would just give you an update. I have gone through and put everything in that was like a definite, I want this in here. So I have the clothes there, I have the shoes down below like you saw. With doing it like that, I've also included 2 pairs of earrings. Again, I don't know what that second pair will be, but they're just kind of a placeholder. I included the shirt I'm wearing, and I included the shorts that I'm wearing. And that has gotten me to 26 pieces. So I can add 8 more things, and that's encouraging because I have a maybe pile, and I'll show you, kind of pan over to that over here. They're pieces that I like, and pieces that I'm like on the fence about, and it really does force you to weigh out, okay, do I want this to hold a valuable spot? So I'm going to take a few minutes and try some things on, and I'm going to see if I can finish out my 33 pieces. There were a couple of things that I'd listed on that list. For example, a watch, a white button down that's like a short sleeve one. I looked yesterday at the thrift store, and then I also looked online. I actually have a credit to Old Navy because I got enough points using the Fetch app, and so I cashed it in for Old Navy. I did not find something like what I wanted there, and then I looked on ThredUp, didn't find something there. So anyway, don't have a plain white button up, don't have a watch. So for now, I'm just going to trade those out with other items, and you know, if I acquire those, then I can cycle something through. So I will go more in depth into this in a future video, but here is kind of the final look. I have tank tops, t-shirts, blouses, skirt, dresses, pants, and then a couple of layering pieces there to the side. I have some shorts folded, and then down at the bottom, I ended up actually changing my shoe situation. Because I don't have to use that rack, I was able to put an organizer down here with drawers. And that has ended up being such a good thing. So I have that, and then I have my shoes sitting on top of it. Alright guys, well that pretty much concludes this video about my closet makeover and Project 333. I have waited maybe 2 weeks between the time I did those first video clips and now, and I'm already loving it. So I think I will probably end up filming like a month update. So if you have any questions about it or how I'm handling things, just leave those questions down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.